So, Pastor Aaron, asked us to speak on mission and calling and how we were called into the ministry to serve youth and serve kids and just be their leader and be a guiding light to them. So, I'm going to talk on our missions trip, which Aaron and I are wearing our shirts. We've already been asked. Aliquippa is where we went in Pennsylvania. We went the first weekend in August, so it's been a couple months. A couple of the things that I want to start off with. For me, this missions trip, I did not realize that it would make me grow in ways that I didn't even know. And one thing that I just, kind of want to put out there. So if we are growing, are we really living, or have we gotten complacent and comfortable? Which, before this missions trip, that's where I was. I've heard multiple times that being comfortable is not where we're supposed to be. Our comfort zone is our safe space, right? I mean, if we stay in our comfort zone, we feel safe, we aren't being challenged, and we aren't allowing ourselves to experience all that God has for us. Another topic that this missions trip kind of brought to light for me was intentionality. How many times in our lives have we been intentional by serving or simply sitting down with someone? I haven't had too many opportunities where I know I was purely intentional with my actions, but this trip has brought that into focus for me because we were being intentional on a relationship level. We are getting to build relationships and being the hands and feet of Jesus to a community that desperately needs it. And so just to kind of give you a background on Aliquippa was built for the steel mills. They had population boom, you wouldn't believe. But once the steel mill went out, everybody left. And now it's a hard community. They desperately need your prayers because, there's some that are I don't even know what we're going to do next. So that was one thing that kind of struck me too. We're serving a poor community. Basically is what it was a poor community. And just being there and being the hands and feet of Jesus to people who were I don't know who you are, I don't know you from Adam, but it was just really neat to experience that. So if I were to name one thing that Aliquippa has taught me, it would be that growth, being intentional, and stepping out of my comfort zone can be an amazing thing if you're willing to experience it. This trip forced me to grow in ways, like I said, that I didn't even know possible. Growing in my relationship with God and growing in my confidence. It forced me to get uncomfortable. And uncomfortable with the fact that I knew no one, only Aaron and the gentleman that went with us. And let me say, I was terrified and scared because Aaron's we're splitting you up on mission, your work groups. I'm going, no, please don't. But it definitely was what I needed. So I was so stuck in my comfort zone that my anxiety and the devil were making me not want to part with him. The thought of being in a separate work group from him was, like I said, scary. He needed me to see for myself that it wasn't as bad as I was making it, and that I needed to grow. Our first day, we got there Thursday night, and it was Friday, Saturday, we left on Sunday. So it was a short trip, but a lot happened in that short trip. Our first day was Friday. It consisted of a hearty breakfast, devotions, and splitting into our work groups. My work group was extremely diverse because it had all ages, adults and youth alike. I learned that my driver, we had drivers that drove us to the work sites. My driver was a military kid who lived in New York City. He went to Moody Bible College and then married and moved to the Phoenix area, which Aaron and I really love Arizona. And so for him to be I lived in Phoenix. I'm how cool. Okay. So we talked about Arizona and the sites. I found out that he was a youth pastor at Northampton Bible Church, which is you said 2 blocks from Blossom Music Center. So this was his first time attending Aliquippa as well. And it made me feel a little more at ease. And he brought 2 teens with him, Josh and Elijah. I picked this work group because Elijah was in my small group from the night before. Elijah was a senior at CVCA and on the soccer team. I didn't get to know Josh that well, so I didn't know what school he attends or any extracurricular activities he was involved in. These 2 made me laugh the whole weekend. First, on Friday, they were talking about liquid IV drinks, and Elijah didn't know that the ones he had energy in them. And so he's drinking them after his soccer games, and he's like, why can't I go to sleep? And so that's kind of what started off the laughter. It was really funny to see her listen to that. And they also found out that that weekend, the temperatures dropped into the 40s all night, or like every night. And to say it was cold and a tent was an understatement. But for some reason, their tent was wide open all night long. And we're like, how in the world can you deal with that? And they're like, oh no, we just did it. So our second day, Saturday, started out the same. We enjoyed another hearty breakfast and gathered for devotions once more. This day was more laid back in the fact that my group had finished our project the day before, so today was more cleaning and touch-ups, which my group was tasked with painting a fellowship hall of the church. It was dark purple, and we had to paint it white. So we had to put many coats over it to make sure that it all looked okay. Let me see, where did I leave off? So while we were at our work site, I was asked if I wanted to participate in prayer walk, which prayer walks was something that we did all weekend. And we just leave our work site, walk out to the community. If we see somebody that, is out or whatever, we just stop, talk to them, ask them how we can pray for them. So Saturday, I got to experience that. And I experienced that because I was more comfortable with everyone in the process. My group consisted of 3 adult males and me. The first lady that we talked to, her name was Mary. She lived next door to her sister B, which B is somebody that they talked to multiple times, and they said, she's an angel, she's amazing. We love talking to her. She was cleaning her car, so we asked her if we could help. And she was almost finished, so she stopped what she was doing to talk to us. Mary was so nice, and we learned that she has lived in Aliquippa for 40 years. The group from Friday met her and prayed with her, so we prayed with her again. Our next stop was further on down the road. There was another lady out cleaning her car again. So we, offered her help. Hey, can we help you? And she was like, no, it's okay. But there was somebody on her front porch, and so she was talking to us, and we couldn't quite see her or whatever, so we moved around the side of her car. We learned that her name is Rosalind. She was working on, she had a coworker. She's like, oh, we'll just make some things. It was an I do barbecue was what she said they were doing. She must have just got engaged, and so they're doing like an engagement party, but an I do barbecue. She was venting to us about her job and her work environment. She is a CRS, which, she kind of made us guess what that meant. None of us got it right. So she told us that it stands for Certified Recovery Specialist. She has celebrated 35 years of sobriety, works part-time as a 68-year-old woman, and has 45 clients that she sees every month. A fun fact that she shared with us that her grandson was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, only to be cut from the team a short time later. She said, just jokingly, she was like, yeah, then I took my flag down out of my yard. She's working on forgiving the team and the coaching staff for cutting her grandson. She said he eventually moved on and went to West Virginia University for education and is now a teacher. Towards the end of our visit, though, I was overcome by this tugging at my heart, like, I just need to go up and talk to her. And it was really cool because, I've never had a tug like that, and that is something that I never do. I don't go up to random people and be like, hey, can I do something for you? So, just by, guy kind of doing that for me, I can't even explain it. If God's telling you to do that, don't ignore it, because it will be the biggest blessing that you will ever experience. I almost didn't do it, but I made the decision that I was going to do it, and I didn't know if it made an impact on Rosalind or not, but it made a huge impact on me. And once again, I was stepping out of my comfort zone, because I just went up to her and I was like, I don't know why I feel shared, I don't know why I feel called to do this, but can I give you a hug? And she goes, oh yeah, I love hugs. I'm like, oh great. Because I was thinking, what if she doesn't, the whole thing, the real, you gotta get one on your mind. I just don't know, but oh yeah, it worked out amazing, and she touched my life like no other. So once we were done at our work sites on Saturday, we ate a quick lunch, and then we proceeded to the park to play with the kids in the neighborhood. And when they say park, that's a mild exaggeration, because this was a house lot where they plopped a playset. And that was it. It was different, but it was an amazing, amazing thing. So the group, So a small swing sat behind the playset. The kids in this neighborhood are growing up with the houses falling into disrepair, and not much upkeep is being done to restore them. These kids needed a dose of Jesus that day, and the adults were the targets. So us leaders needed it as much as well. They loved having water fights, paint wars, glitter bombs, snow cone syrup, and snow cone ice dumped on us. Two of the group members got the worst of it with paint, snow cone syrup, and glitter. And one of the boys also got Axe body spray from his house across the street and started spraying everybody too. So yeah, nobody was safe at all. But we followed it up with a game of kickball, and then we proceeded to the local YMCA to get our showers. So we tent camped all weekend. We had porta potties to use. I mean, it was primitive. We roughed it, but we ended up going, like, they worked out a deal with the local Y so we could go get showers, which was nice. All throughout the weekend, there were so many opportunities to build relationships and form bonds with the people around you. From being with your work groups during the day to spending your free time playing sports or fishing with everyone, you got to know and love the other person. We had so much fun getting to know everyone and form bonds. You come in knowing no one, you leave like a family on the last day. So those bonds are really what helped us. No one judged anyone, and we were our true, genuine selves. Once Sunday came, we didn't want to leave. There were so many fun memories made, and I still think about them sometimes. So Elijah and Josh sleeping in the tent, open all night, to the girls behind us threatening to go WWE on another girl over farting in her tent. Like, that was the highlight. Elliot was another fun kid. He's 13 years old and he goes to St. Michael's in Canton. His love for older music carried him to serenading our work group with Queen on Friday. His mom told us on Sunday that she woke him up and she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you singing ABBA right now? Like, who are you?" But he told me also that he has seen the Rolling Stones 5 times with his parents, who are music lovers. He's the one I bonded with the most. I also learned that his dad's a painter, which was perfect because our group was tasked with painting the fellowship hall. So he was like, "Oh yeah, here guys, do it this way," and which is really nice. Elliot took to his project and he did not stop to take breaks. He worked his hardest and never once complained about anything. He took what he knew and applied it to the project. His flair for life is so contagious for those around him. Every night we had a fire where we debriefed the day and shared any good things that happened while we were in our work sites. 2 claps is a big thing that we did because it could have went on all night if we let it. 2 claps is a big confidence booster because if someone saw another person doing something encouraging or uplifting, they were encouraged to share that with the others. We would then end with 2 claps for that person. We also worshiped around a fire, and if you have not experienced worship around a campfire in the middle of nowhere, it's just something I can't explain. It's just, yeah, you're missing out. Something about being in nature and being around like-minded people, it just makes worshiping God so much better. No one cared that you were smelly or in the same clothes the whole weekend. The best part of the weekend was not being around everyone, but our morning devotions. We studied the Good Samaritan, or the Good Sammy, as they like to call it. And for those unfamiliar with the story, it starts out with an expert in the law asking Jesus what he must do to inherit eternal life. So Jesus asks him what is written in the law. The expert says he is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus told him, "Do this and you will live." The expert then asks, "Who is my neighbor?" Jesus then goes into the parable stating that there was a Jewish man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. He was attacked by robbers and left for dead. A priest came upon the man and crossed to the other side of the road. A moment later, a Levite came upon the man and did the same thing. The third person that passed by this man was a Samaritan. Now during this time, Jews and Samaritans didn't get along at all. Like, they thought the Samaritans were half-breeds because they weren't fully Jewish, and they just didn't get along. So for a Samaritan to help this man wasn't heard of, but the Samaritan took pity on the Jewish man. He bandaged his wounds, put him on his donkey, and then took him to an inn to take care of him. The next day, he gave the innkeeper 2 denarii, told him to look after the man, and that he would reimburse the innkeeper for any extra expense. Jesus then asked the expert who he thinks was a neighbor to the man. The expert replies, "The one who had mercy on him." Jesus then tells him to go and do likewise. All weekend, we were challenged to keep the story in the front of our minds. We were challenged to look for someone to serve, even in our own neighborhoods. Our main objective was serving in the community, but that wasn't limited to working on projects. We also served by sitting and talking to someone. We planted seeds with someone we may never see again, but we were Jesus by making time for them. We were being intentional with our actions because intentionality makes the other person feel seen and heard. So my question for all of you is, how can you serve someone? Could it be by walking around the neighborhood and seeing if a neighbor needs help? Could it be having a conversation with someone and seeing how you can pray for them? Could it be intentional with your actions and following through on something you promised someone you would do? The possibilities are endless for serving someone. So find a need and fill it.
Good evening.